I don't fucking go here. What's up? Yeah, it's Walt with One Fall WrestleCast. Derek's already fucking pissed me off. Okay, so there's no fun, happy-go-lucky Walt today. All right, we got a lot of fucking shit to talk about. Okay, bunch of bullshit and drama in the wrestling world. Can't wait to fucking talk about it. Tony Khan's a piece of shit. Braun Strowman's dumb in 3 languages, and Alexa Bliss got married and she twerked. Can't wait to talk. Let's go.
Welcome to the One Fall WrestleCast.
As always, I'm joined by Mr. Tom and Mr. Little fucking big mouth dick little piece of shit Derek. Okay,
Jesus.
we got a bunch
You
of
didn't even
stuff
have a
to
good
talk
name
about.
for you this time.
Like we're gonna just do our thing here, all right? So first of all, the big news right now is Tony Khan tweets out some nonsense, and he has been getting his ass kicked this week over this. And I was out of town this week when this came across. So Tom, this is kind of your little thing here, but man,
I didn't realize I was a Twitter bot. Did you realize that?
Nah, I didn't realize I was a Twitter bot either.
Realize I was a
You
fake
are, yeah.
Twitter account. Apparently, allegedly,
What
right,
had happened was
what had happened was alleged. So I wish I had my allegedly shirt on, but instead gave your balls a tug, Tony Khan. Tony Khan said that he had a due to a study, he cited an independent study, which he did not cite, nor did he show us. But due to an independent study, all of the AEW hate that happens on Twitter is not, in fact, real people hating on AEW. It is, in fact, bots run by a very expensive bot operation. And who would pay for this? Who would pay for such a thing? Just look at them. All they do is retweet things and like, I don't know about you guys, but like, I don't really post my thoughts on I don't like to post my thoughts on the internet because, quite frankly, I feel like that's a mistake because, like, the people that post.
But you have a platform where you give your opinion every week.
I mean, I do, but it's just on wrestling, not like random stuff. Like, I don't wake up in the morning and go, you know what? Cinnamon Toast Crunch sucks. Like, that's not, I don't do that, right? So, but Tony Khan said, thanks to an independent study, which I believe was Tony Khan. I'm not certain that he wasn't trolling, truth be told. I'm not certain that the Tony Khan, because it was so stupid that it was like one of those things where it was like, is this stupid on purpose to get attention? And like, because he did hawk like, hey, but watch Rampage later. And truth be told, Rampage did better numbers than it did the week before. So if Tony Khan has to say something stupid on Twitter and then be like, by the way, don't forget to watch Rampage tonight, maybe that's what it was. So although I didn't realize I was a Twitter bot, but apparently I am part of the Twitterverse, although fucking Dynamite was a banger. Dynamite was amazing this week. Oh, amazing.
Yeah, it was definitely pay-per-view worthy, and I want to dive into that. But here's the tweet, right? An independent study confirmed that much of the staunch anti Becky in arena booers aren't real individuals. It's a staff running thousands of AI, an army of bots. Look closely; these aren't real people. Who'd pay for such a wildly expensive thing?
That was Becky. That was Becky's ritual.
Becky, and you guys seriously think this is like, guys?
No, I think I'm with you,
dude.
This
is the greatest shit ever. Like,
I think he was just trolling, and I think it was. I'm gonna say some stupid stuff on Twitter, and let's see if it bumps the ratings for our Friday night show, right?
Yes, please.
Truth be told, I think they did what 5.5 mil last week, or 5.5 half a mil, 550,000 viewers. I think what they did last week, but this week they hit 600K. So it did get him 50K more views. So
listen, I mean, good for
It's
them,
all free
man.
advertising, bud. It's all free.
Yeah.
For them.
This is just go post 64 characters or under, or whatever it is.
Yeah. I mean,
But
it worked.
it's
It worked
like
for Donald Trump.
It's like 240, I think. I don't know. I did not, like you said, I was unaware that I was a Twitter bot, because I'm gonna tell you what,
really was.
like I'm very much a retweet guy, and I'm here. I walk, I talk, I breathe, I eat, and I drink whiskey.
I was shocked to find out that I was a Twitter bot. I was shocked.
You know, I mean, I guess, you know, Derek's not a Twitter bot because, you know, he's over there trying to cup the balls. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's like, oh, Tony.
Jesus. That's a little, yeah.
Hey, man, it is what it is, bro. I just call it like I see it. Like, I'm surprised you don't have your Tony Khan's dick T-shirt on right now.
You guys put way too much stock in me loving everything he does. It's not so much that, it's just the guy can market it. I'm not saying that he's doing everything perfect all the time.
I'm gonna make Derek a shirt with a dick on his shoulder that says Tony TK's dick on it. That's what I'm gonna do. Put a big old.
I'd just be happy to have a shirt you made.
Facing your mouth.
Nice. Yeah.
Little coming out of it.
Yeah, get on my fucking nerves, dude.
We'll get banned. We'll get banned on YouTube for that. We'll get demonetized. See the way that's funny? That's funny, right?
Yeah,
you know what I think?
That's funny. Because
we
don't make no fucking money. Hey.
You mean those quarter checks ain't coming? Those checks for 25 cents ain't coming in yet?
No, not yet.
You got to make more than the postage and paper fee before they'll actually pay you.
That's fair.
Good point. It's fair.
But listen, regardless, like if this was a troll or like this was real life, I mean, it's pretty ballsy to put it out there one way or another. And the internet has just saddled up Tony Khan and just rode him into town.
And he gives no shits about it because it worked out exactly how he would want.
You're one of the top 10 richest human beings in the world. Why would you care what anybody thinks? But
I don't care.
And truth be told, for him, like I said, it worked out. They got like 50K more viewers. So if that's what he was going for, he probably went, I was hoping for a bigger number. But, you know, it worked anyway. So, you know, if it works a little bit, it works, right?
Hey, I mean, got to do something considering, you know, Rampage isn't even up there sniffing that 750 yet. You know what I'm saying? And like, you know, it's really funny.
Guys,
it's the worst wrestling show on television. It's really not good.
It's got ups and downs, bud.
No, I mean they're mostly downs though. Like it's not. It's a bad show most weeks. It's really like not good. And Derek's got something to say, so I'm gonna let him say it, and then I'm gonna explain to him why it's a bad show.
No. I wasn't gonna get deep on it yet. All I was gonna point out is that, you know, whenever SmackDown or even Thunder, if you want to go that far back, but SmackDown specifically was first a thing.
We're comparing this to Thunder now?
It was on the UPN channel. What is it? No. We're moving on. It was on the UPN channel, a channel nobody got. I actually had it from my grandparents who had Prime Star back in the day, if anybody remembers that satellite company.
Nobody remembers Prime Star.
Guys, the second show for WWE at the time wasn't great either. It's all a matter of just you got to see what you can do. Of course, you're going to have to take another spot on television. This isn't something that he was, you know, like all about. I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure he was at the time, but it's probably kind of similar to the Eric Bischoff situation where, you know, I don't want to make another couple hours of content, but the network wants another couple hours of content. So what are you going to do?
That's bullshit because he's got like 7 hours worth of content on YouTube that they're passionate about putting out every fucking week. So don't hit me. As a matter of fact, just
okay. So you guys are sitting there watching that and telling me that's the worst show in wrestling, then? So which is the worst?
Okay.
No. Which is the worst? That's the logic. You guys are sitting here saying that, this is the worst shit on television.
The logic is that fucking Dark and Dark Elevation aren't on television. They're on YouTube. So that's not on TV, right? So Rampage is on TV and it butts right up against its competitor's fucking A show. And they can't get enough. They can't get enough crossover audience on it. So they're taking liberties, and it's fucking Friday Night Delight, right? And this is what we end up with every fucking week, right, Tom?
I tell you what, bud,
So-
you're kind of coming off as a boomer at this point because
right.
you got to take into account that YouTube is an actual online platform that actually has YouTube TV.
But it's also not a network television.
This is television now. This is television now.
Derek,
streaming services.
I'm explaining to you. Hold on, because there's 4 matches. Let me break down. I don't know if you watched Rampage live.
He probably didn't watch it at all. That's the thing, right? So he's gonna sit here and he's gonna defend it, and he didn't even fucking watch it.
Right. So
I was gonna bring up the fact that my favorite streaming channel for said Rampage, whenever I don't catch it live on television, is kind of pissing me off the amount of ads they have going on. But go ahead, Tom.
So I had the unfortunate experience of watching Rampage live this week, and let me give you a breakdown of what the matches were. They were Swerve versus QT Marshall, which I like Swerve, but has QT Marshall won Swerve's house? But has QT Marshall won a match in AEW? I'm going to tell you right now, he has not. And the next one was a women's match, which was, oh my God, they're letting the women wrestle on AEW now? I can't believe it. So 1 out of 4 was a women's match. I can't believe it. Was it like, did we see Britt Baker? Did we see Ruby Soho? Did we see Toni Storm? Did we see any of the women who anybody gives a shit about who don't suck completely? No, we saw Willow versus Red Velvet, who I must say may be the 2 worst women's wrestlers on their roster. Red Velvet, I'm almost certain is actually a worse wrestler than Nyla Rose, and that's a lot. That's saying a lot. That she's very terrible. Willow didn't get a whole lot in either way. It really was. I don't remember who won because it was irrelevant. It was just like a lot of.
It was Red Velvet.
It was a really bad match. So it was really, really bad. And then we had Bryan Danielson versus Trent, which was fine. But why? Who cares? Why should I care?
That was the leadoff match. It was actually a good match.
It was fine, right? It was good, right? They're both okay, but why should I care about it? Why should I give a crap?
Because it's Bryan Danielson. That's why. That should make you want to tune in.
Everything Bryan Daniels, every match, it was a good match, and I'm not going to argue with you to say.
And Trent Beretta, love him or hate him, dude. He's out there. He puts on some bangers,
right. I'm not saying they're bad, but why do I care? There was no build to this. Why are they even fighting? Who cares?
Well, that's kind of fucking AEW's MO.
Okay, but that's like the whole all of these. Okay, so the Swerve versus QT. Other than to let Swerve get. Yes, QT Marshall's less interesting Guy Fieri. Other than just to let Swerve have another one on his win record before he gets into what his actual feud is, because he's not feuding with the Factory and QT Marshall. There's no reason there was no reason for that match either. Which this could have easily been on Dark or Dark Elevation, no problem. Willow versus Red Velvet, same thing, easily could have been on Dark Elevation. Danielson versus Trent, sure, put this on this show, but let me care about it, because let me care about what Bryan Danielson is doing, other than hey, these guys are good at wrestling, because they are good at wrestling. But other than, hey, these guys are good at wrestling, here's a match. Do something with it. Why? I enjoyed watching the match.
A long-term storyline.
Yes.
Everything though. Tony?
No, but there has to at least be a short-term storyline. Give me a one
hot
reason.
Shot something, man.
Hot shot it. Yeah. Give me a back where let them bump into each other, and let Trent be saw you with your pants down or whatever. Give him a hey, you want to go out for a burger? Actually, I'm vegan. Oh, well, that sucks. You suck. Or whatever. Let that be. I don't even care. Let him have a little spat backstage. I don't care. And then the main event was Mox versus Yuta, which I will admit had a little bit of legs, and was really the only thing that had any legs. And it got most of the time. I think it went 15-ish minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably about 20 actually. You add in the aftermatch stuff.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. But so it's the main event. Obviously Mox is the main event, right? And Mox and Yuta fought about a month ago, or at some point in February. They fought, and Mox beat the tar out of him in about 5 minutes or so. Yuta got some offense in, but Mox beat the tar out of him, right? Because that's what Mox was doing, right? When he came back, he'd let everybody else get a little bit of offense in. More or less had 5-6 minutes back. Hit the big clothesline, did the thing where he picks you up for the suplex and just drops you, and just beat the hell out of him. No. The suplex where it's just like he picks you up for a suplex, but he ends up just chucking you because you're just like this little nothing. And then the paradigm shift, which is that underhook DDT thing, but he picks you up. So this was a longer match because they wanted this to be Wheeler Yuta. Now I just want to point out here, Wheeler Yuta as a name, I get that the guy can go and he's got some chops in the ring, and I'm not trying to discredit his wrestling acumen, but he's got the worst name in wrestling. Yeah,
I don't know why that's doing that.
That's fun, but he's got the worst name in wrestling. What's a Wheeler? Wheeler Yuta.
Last name.
All right, man. Look. Let me talk. The adults are talking here. I'm the adult. All right, wow. Wheeler Yuta, bad name, not a good wrestling name. Look, if they were to rename somebody in WWE Wheeler Yuta and throw him out here, you'd be like, this is the stupidest rename. This is the stupidest name in the history of fucking wrestling.
You want to talk about stupid names? Let's talk about Ludwig Kaiser. Okay.
Dude, that's better than Butch. That's better than Butch. That's better than I'm just saying, that's better. Look, because Marcel Barthel wasn't a good name either. So he only went up. Like, there was only going up from there. So anyway, Marcel Barthel. Anyway, so Wheeler Yuta, they get out there, and Mox dominates the beginning part of this match. Wheeler gets some offense in, and then he gets his whole face stamped into a and then he gets his whole face.
I'm still here.
I can hear you. I just see you're having some technical difficulties. His whole face gets
stairs though. Yeah.
Right into the steps. And then he does the blade job to end all blade jobs. Holy crap. I have never seen somebody blade so deep that they squirt twice over their eyes. This guy was like Cyclops from X-Men, but with blood. It was gross is what it was. So this guy squirt. No, you can't talk yet. No, you can't. Shush.
Really? Okay.
This guy squirted blood like a fountain, like a friggin' fountain for like the next 10 minutes. Mox like bit it a few times because they were like, "Oh, Mox said he drinks blood now." And I mean, it was a good match, and I'm not gonna tell you it was. I'm not gonna sit here and be like it wasn't a good match, but like it's one of those things where it's like, oh my God, Wheeler Yuta, they made a star out of Wheeler Yuta, and to end all, they made a star out of Wheeler Yuta. Did they though, or is this just like a thing, and then we forget about Wheeler Yuta again, just like we forget about Ruby Soho, like we forget about Tony Storm, like we forgot about 100 other. Who else have they signed? Malachi Black. Just like Buddy Matthews, every next big thing. There's a next big thing for a week, couple of days, and it's like, oh my God, Wheeler Yuta bled all over the place. What a star-defining moment. That's going to be it. They're going to let this guy be a mediocre mid-Carter guy on whatever they get a Ring of Honor deal on, and they're going to let him meander around in Ring of Honor. And they went to blood again. So much blood. Every week it's with the blood. Like, this guy's face is going to be permanently mangled for that super gash that he gave himself. Every week we got to bleed. Everybody's got to bleed every week. It's meaningless now in AEW. And I'm not saying that like I'm squeamish and I can't see somebody, but it's meaningless. People bleed every week in AEW. They blade all the time. There's constant blading. And it's more even than like in the Attitude Era. Like, there was a friggin' hardcore championship in the Attitude Era. There wasn't this much blood. So it's one of those things where it's just like, I watched a bad, 38 minutes of TV, and then not bad, but I watched 38 minutes of sort of nonsense wrestling TV that had no build and was really like two of the matches were kind of pretty shit. And then, I saw a main event that in the grand scheme of things, like when we went to AEW, is going to be a meaningless nothing because Wheeler Yuta is going to just be another one of Orange Cassidy's guys, and Danhausen's going to curse somebody. You're cursed. And I love me some Danhausen, but like Danhausen's like going to be that's going to trend more often because Danhausen's going to curse more people than Wheeler Yuta is going to bleed like a stuck pig all over the end of a Friday night TV show. So, Derek, now you can have the floor and you can explain why am I wrong?
So, first off, I'd like to point out that I know you referenced this a few times now about Wheeler Yuta cutting himself the way he did, which actually, if you pay attention, it was definitely Moxley giving him. Wheeler Yuta cut himself while he was on the stairs. Lightly. Not lightly, but 100% Moxley came in after the fact and gave him an extra cut, shoved his hand in his pocket to get rid of the gimmick, and it was pointed out on air that, he's just a professional now that he just rubs blood in his pocket so he can keep his grip. Yeah, now, that's where that came from. It was normal at first and then turned into a bloodbath, which was caused by Moxley, which, it is what it is.
That's worse. I didn't know that. That's worse.
Yeah, that absolutely happened.
That's worse.
I mean, that was just for me watching it, but yeah.
I'm just saying that's worse, man. Like, that's worse. I didn't know that. I assumed he did it himself. That's worse.
Yeah.
That's so much worse.
He did not. I don't believe so anyway.
That so much reinforces that's worse. It's like, wait. We got to get more. Not only we got juice, we got to get more juice. So what you're telling me is the problem is Mox. And it's not because he didn't get juice. Mox didn't
I don't think either way is a problem. I'm just trying to defend Wheeler Yuta as, it wasn't his fault that this went as far as it did. He was just there in the moment and went along with it and had a hell of a match.
Look, he had a great match. There was plenty of times, though, in the match where he could not see due to, the red mask.
Absolutely. And he took a ton of damage throughout this match.
His face is going to look stupid after. His face is going to look stupid. Like he's going to have this like weird like sad face. Like
after
it's
going to be a little rough.
He's going to look terrible. And like that wasn't for the 500,000 viewers that Rampage gets. Like that's what I'm getting at. It's like that's not worth it. Like you want to bleed like that at a major pay-per-view, that's one thing. You want to bleed like that after a major, like this had a little bit of legs, but like this didn't have like let me get a crimson mask and bleed, and whether it was his fault or Moxley's fault or whatever, like they just go to blood, and it's like, oh well, let's just it's Friday night special. Let's get some blood going. Let's get some blood flowing, and we got fucking bloody Cyclops going. It's just not. I mean, it doesn't have the impact that it should because it's every Friday somebody's bleeding out. So it's like, oh well, we made it to the main event, nobody's bled out yet, so you're up there, bloody boy.
See, I don't really look at it like that as far as like it should come with an impact. It's not so much that. It's just it kind of makes it seem like
that's what it's for.
This is what blood is for. Style real fighting. It kind of comes across as this is real. Did you see the elbows that he was giving Wheeler Yuta?
They call the matches in UFC when there's blood. It's not.
If this was UFC, it would have been called after the elbow strikes, which it was just crazy. And he took two paradigm shifts and kicked out of both of them. I think really what the end game here was the storyline moving forward. And
they told a story in the ring where he just wouldn't go down, and Moxley had to put him to sleep because he couldn't just stop this guy by beating the tar out of him, which he kind of killed him. And he's like, "Fine, I'm just gonna choke you till you don't live anymore," and he just choked him out. And he passed out.
I'd like to point out that Moxley gave the most believable bulldog exit that I've ever seen as far as getting out of the bulldog in the middle of the ring.
Oh, yeah.
He started throwing his back legs up into the air and just like trying to kick him and stomp him. This actually makes sense. It wasn't him crawling to the side of the ring and grabbing a rope. It was actually like I wanted to. I made a mental note to bring that to the show this evening because that was actually huge as far as that goes. But yeah, at the end of the match,
everything looked slippery with blood too, which is problematic in a way. Yeah, it's problematic, and every part of it was. I really think it caps off sort of what I was the point I was trying to make about Rampages. Also, this was the main event, and on paper, this isn't a main event that like makes you say, "I'm definitely tuning in. I'm definitely turning this on," right? Like And I'm fine with where it went, and I thought the match was fine itself, but at the same time, it's like it's the same trope that AEW is going to have. They've got their stars already, but then, oh my God, Wheeler Yuta is such a great. Oh my God, everybody's high on Wheeler Yuta now. For now,
sure.
Until they've got their new shiny toy to play with, and then we don't see Wheeler Yuta for a little while, or he's standing on the outside because we probably won't see him now because he's got to probably get stitches in his forehead, and you can't just like run back out there and like get punched in the face again after getting stitches in your forehead. Like it's gonna be a week or two. Can the guy talk? I don't know. Are they gonna try to talk to him? Probably. We'll see what happens. But it's at this point, like I'm just kind of in a weird spot of where it's like, they made a star out of Wheeler, and that's what the internet wrestling community, Brian Alvarez is all. They made a star. Right, they made a star out of Wheeler Yuta. It's like Tony Storm was the biggest thing like a week ago, and then on Wednesday, Samoa Joe was the biggest thing. And it's like, well, so now it's Wheeler Yuta until the next show, and then we forget about Wheeler Yuta because it's going to go back to being Keith Lee and Swerve. That's going to be a big deal. Samoa Joe being around because they teased Samoa Joe with against this is the one thing I didn't write down.
Jay Lethal had a great outing, I know, against Mass Caster.
Right.
Yeah, that's coming.
They teased that against, which is going to be another big thing. Like that's going to be great. And we're gonna forget like Wheeler Yuta's just going to join the little Blackpool Combat Club, and that'll be that. He'll be number 3 because you're not going to be number 1 with Moxley and Daniels. Like, and that's it. Like he'll be managed guy number 4 or number 3, and that'll be that. And it's this guy messed up his face to be Buddy Matthews, right? That's what he's going to be.
We have to come out with some high profile storylines coming up, and we've signed a lot of high profile talent who now we need to get into storylines. And so I could see where it definitely comes across like that. But man, I'm just excited to watch the product and see where it goes. Really. Like,
sure, but I don't think it's going to go. I don't think it's going to go anywhere where Wheeler Yuta is important to anybody on anything.
The next 2 or 3 weeks are going to be him leaving the Best Friends, of course, and him moving on to Blackpool Combat Club, which is great. I know you mentioned earlier that Malachi Black hasn't been doing anything or whatever. He was the next big thing, and now he's nothing. But no, he's got Brody King, he's got Buddy Murphy or whatever he's going by now,
Buddy Matthews,
and they're already saying that there's more coming. So we will see.
Walt, are you back yet?
There's a lot going on in AEW, man. I think there's a lot to look forward to, and even though they might have their slip ups, and maybe the Bloody match wasn't for you. The way it ended, though, was great. The booking on it was great, I think, all the way around. It wouldn't be my match of the week, but
that's what I'm saying. It's that, like, these guys go out there, and it's like he practically killed himself, and like, they're falling over themselves in the wrestling on the internet. But it's like, in a week, nobody's going to remember this. Nobody's going to think about this. Nobody's going to look back on it as like, this was a pivotal moment. It's because they do this all the time. And it's just one of those things where it's like, how many you go to the well so many times with the same thing, which is blood, sure. more blood. And it's one of those things where it's like, well, we just expect it now. Like I expected going in because I was watching it. I'm like, nobody's bled yet. And it's late on Friday. Somebody's going to bleed now. And it was surprise. It was Wheeler Yuta. Just blood bleeding. I didn't expect that much blood. Truth be told, that was a lot of blood. They were like, we really just gotta up the bleed. This has to squirt. And that was
I'm not sure if they even expected that much blood.
I don't think Wheeler Yuta was expecting that much blood. He was having a hard because he was trying to get them. He's trying to get those cross faces in, and like he slipped a few times because he was.
I really did enjoy the aspect of the cross faces, though, man. Because I'm telling you that if you rewatch the match, man, Moxley in the middle of the ring kicking up like a crazy donkey like that to try to get out. I was like, oh man, this makes sense. Like it just clicked in my mind. I was like, thank you. It's not we're all
when they zoomed in.
It's gonna happen moment.
When they zoomed in, I saw a slip and a bloody whoop where it was. Oh, he's back.
I don't know what the fuck's going on here, man.
So I think Derek and I have beat this Wheeler Yuta match to death, much like Moxley beat Wheeler Yuta to death. But what are we talking about next there?
So,
sir?
You had said something earlier, man, that kind of resonated with me. You're talking about like, where's this, where's that, and you brought up Toni Storm. Hey, man, like I feel like her and Jamie Hayter are gonna be the ones that are gonna be at the finals of this Owen Hart tournament here.
Sure.
Because they're kind of giving them some legs and giving them a little bit of a story. So I wouldn't sleep too much on that. You know what I'm saying? It's not like they're going to be in there with the American Cream, Busty Rhodes.
Love me some NXT. Anyway,
yeah, how good is she though? But for real, like I think
great. She had a better match. They had a great match this week. I can't remember. Oh, I had her name on the top of my head. I was thinking
Nikita
about it.
Lyons.
Not Nikita Lyons. Her opponent this week. No, her opponent this week. So they were both, because they're both big girls, and they had a big girls match, and it was great. It was a match I didn't know I wanted to see. How I like when like big guys smash each other, like these were two big girls smashing. These were two big girls smashing each other, and I really like. I was all about. Hold on, let me pull this up here.
Nikita Lyons has a lot of potential. I had no idea about her on the indie scene, and then she came into NXT with her signature pin, as it seems to have become. As we've seen that now a couple times, and she get a little busty. I like it. It's something different. And she's definitely playing off of it.
I would say that like her hold on, her was it Kayla Inlay? Was that who it was this week? No, that was last week.
I couldn't tell you, bud. Even if you said it, I wouldn't know it at this point.
Erica,
it's been too long.
Nikita Lyons match. Anyway, so her match this week. The only thing I'll say about Nikita Lyons is that she's a little bit green in the way that like she yells too much, like she gets real excited, and rightfully so. But like it's
an indie show thing.
It is, and she's very green. She's like, you know what's coming. And it's like, let's dial back there, Seth freaking Rollins. And that's my only like great, like that's a very green indie thing to do. But no, I mean, like that's like I was saying, like I want to watch the big girls fight each other, and I would watch more of that. So let's keep rolling with that, because I think NXT's got a good thing that I've never seen before, and it seems to be working out very well, because that's what's trending.
I feel like
of the whole match, of the whole show.
I feel like NXT 2.0 is finally starting to find some legs, right? Like,
although they undid all of WrestleMania. They undid all of WrestleMania on Tuesday. You realize that, right? Or on Monday and Tuesday.
Who cares? It's a new season.
I'm just saying they undid all of it because Braun Breaker like won his title back on Monday, and, like immediately, like after he didn't win during the WrestleMania weekend, and then Toxic Attraction got the tag team titles back.
Yeah, that was disappointing.
So the only thing that hasn't happened yet is that Cameron Grimes is still the North American champ, but like that could change relatively quickly as well. So
yeah, I mean, I feel like they're finally starting to put it together over there on Tuesday night. So I'm here for it. Let's see what happens. But I wasn't really sure that we were going to get into this, but I guess tomorrow night NXT is going to be crowning some new tag team champions, since one half of MSK and Nash Carter has been released.
Yes.
And
we should talk about this.
What has been a very strange turn of events.
We should talk about this.
In what has happened.
What had happened was
so obviously we knew about this last week coming in to do the show, because we decided we weren't going to touch it until there was more
legs there on it. Yeah.
And absolutely.
I feel that we were right to do that. Looking back, we made the right decision.
I believe that too, because I think things would have been said, especially by me, that probably wouldn't have sat too well with the internet community as a whole, which is fine because it is what it is. But there seems to still be a contingency of people that may or may not share my opinion, and I'm going to go ahead and get into this. So, for those of you that may be living under a wrestling rock and don't know, one half of the NXT Tag Team Champions, MSK, Nash Carter, has been released from his NXT WWE contract because his wife has
the ex-wife
cried domestic violence all over Twitter, tagging WWE and NXT in every turn. She posted a picture of her with a busted lip, saying, "This is what your tag team champion did to me. He's this, he's that, he's a terrible human being," posting all these pictures of him. And it eventually got to the point where WWE felt like they needed to make a stand, and they released him. Now, a lot of people are upset that he's been released on some accusations, but you take a look at the track record here. Velveteen Dream comes to mind, right? There was some accusations and an extensive investigation was done, and yet Velveteen Dream was still released. So what seems to be the disconnect here? Well, there seems to be some folks that think that the picture of Nash Carter with his little Hitler stash is what got him released.
I mean, I think that's honestly truth. I think
that's 100% why he got released.
I think
I think his ex-wife was keeping that in the old ammo case.
Sure,
ready to bust that out whenever she was ready.
I mean, are you stupid for shaving and taking stupid shaving photos? I mean, look, every time I shave my beard, I shave Lemmy chops in, and we are Motorhead. I'm Lemmy from Motorhead. I wouldn't, shave the Charlie Chaplin mustache onto my face and then take that picture, even for like a as a personal like ha 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 I'm funny kind of thing. It's not funny. But he was clearly like in the bathroom shaving. He didn't keep that mustache, and it was clearly like a very old photo. So
yes,
and he's a young guy, right? So it's just a thing where like he did it. He probably sent it like ha 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 I'm funny, and then forgot about it, shaved the mustache off, went back to his life. Well, she saved it, and in addition to everything else that was going on at the time, in addition to he beats me, he mentally abuses me, yada, yada, yada. Also, here's this Hitler thing. And it's like, whoa. And that was sort of, I think, everything else, like WWE's like, man, she's kind of like just kind of losing it on Twitter. Like, don't do this on Twitter. But then when they get to that, it's like, all right, this has already gained too much traction. And now that picture's out there, got to let him go. And I think that's really the
straw that broke the camel's back.
I think WWE would have let it go until there was sort of a more final conclusion and they had heard both sides. Because truth be told, he probably told WWE, look, I don't even live there. I'm here. I filed for divorce. I've been, because he was living with Max Caster and his girlfriend or wife or whatever. Or wait, no, not Max Caster? Who's the other MSK guy?
What the hell is his name?
But yeah, he was living with his tag team partner.
Woods.
Yeah, Woods. He was living with his tag team partner, and well, he was living with his tag team partner and his girlfriend or wife, and he had been staying with him for weeks at this point because he was trying to get out of that relationship because it had turned toxic, and clearly it had. I mean, I don't think if there's anything to dispute, there's no disputing that. I think the relationship itself had turned toxic, and what I find sort of most telling of Wesley. So I think what I find most telling about all of it is really though that she was singing his praises during WrestleMania weekend while he was winning the tag team titles, and then allegedly he filed for divorce on Monday, and that's when all that hit the fan with that photo and everything. So it seemed to be like water under the bridge, and then he filed for divorce, and it was like, and no,
definitely
I was lied to.
It was ammo saved up. This was
so
not to say planned, but it definitely was convenient that And just like any normal husband and wife would, of course, you might have those pictures on your phone, especially with an iPhone. It'll send them straight to the cloud, any messages you receive. I
I
can
don't have
definitely
those.
see how this was,
I don't
this
have
could have
those.
just happened.
But Seth Rollins did have a vengeful ex-girlfriend pre-Becky Lynch who did
Yes,
share public photos of little Seth.
that's true.
And so this isn't a new thing in wrestling. And I do think
There was also an issue with Seth Rollins and texting people he shouldn't have, basically.
there was that. But I mean, I think I want to take the stance of like, look, abuse is wrong. Physical abuse is wrong. Spousal abuse is wrong. Abuse against women is wrong. Abuse against husbands, men is wrong. But abuse is wrong, right? I think what's important to say here, but also like false reports of abuse are also wrong. It's very wrong. So
Absolutely.
it seems like there's a very big question here as to whether or not it's true. And I know there's like, you should believe, you should do this, you should be understanding and be compassionate
See,
about it.
the thing is, we live in a society where you're innocent until you're proven guilty, right? But
Right.
Unfortunately, that's a false narrative. We absolutely live in a society where you're guilty until you're proven innocent.
Right.
And even in most cases where you're proven innocent, you're still perceived to be guilty, because at the end of the day, perception is reality. And if the masses perceive that you're a woman beater, even though you may have been cleared or acquitted of all of those causes, right? Like, you could rewind all the way back to O.J. Simpson. Okay, he was acquitted of all of those charges as far as murder is concerned. But and 9 times out of 10, somebody brings up O.J. Simpson. Oh, that dude killed his wife, right? Like, that's the society that we live in, where you're no longer innocent until proven guilty. You're guilty until proven innocent, and even then, you're still guilty in the eyes of the masses. And I think that that's a goddamn shame, if I'm being honest with you.
Well, OJ definitely killed his wife, but
see, there we
The
go.
glove
You
would
just
have
proved
fit
my point.
if he would have taken his heart medications.
But anyway, I don't know that that's the best example, but yeah, no, I mean, I agree, and I think that I don't think anything will come of this. Truth be told, I think that, and since he got fired, have you seen anything? Has this escalated any further? I don't
She
think
deleted her Twitter account.
No, but what's going to come of this, Tom? You said that nothing's going to come of this. Is this man just lost his career? He lost
no. But by nothing's going to come of this, I mean this is the end. Like, we don't hear about this again. Like, that's it. This was the end goal. He wronged her in whatever way, and they were getting a divorce, so she ruined his career. And whether that, if he hit her, that's wrong. But at the same time, she's still like, the end result is whatever he did to her, the result was she ruined his career too.
Yeah.
So if he hit her, you know what? If he hit her, there was a domestic disturbance, domestic dispute, go to the police. Absolutely. Like, you could still ruin his career that way and get actual justice. But she went directly to Twitter and ruined his career in the face of the public. And probably nothing's going to happen to him. Like, they're probably going to get divorced, and he's just not going to be a wrestler anymore. So,
which is a damn shame.
If anything, she just lost a whole lot of money, because she could have had a lot better alimony in the end if she'd have just.
But you know what?
I
feel like being
honestly.
I feel like being for some people, it's not about the money. It's about vengeance.
Being vengeful. Yeah, exactly. And gosh, guys, I just can't see another person losing their entire career, a very successful, budding career.
He was a champion.
I said my wife. I mean, I'm sorry, guys. I might do some offensive things from time to time. Definitely in the public eye, there's definitely plenty of things I wouldn't put online, because I'm sitting here with the person that I'm dedicated to, and this is my wife for the rest of my life. This is not what we're, and to have the thought that she would just sit there and just save this away on the side just in case he pisses me off in the future. It was very obviously a joke. It was not recent, because you can tell from the hair and everything.
Yeah,
or even the tattoos. It's not. Was it offensive? Absolutely. Was it stupid? Sure, absolutely, it was stupid. It's not how he really felt, though. It was just, I'm just sending a picture to tease my wife. And this comes back all these years later to ruin this man, and not just this man, but the family of his tag team partner, Wrasslin.
Right? Like, what are they going to do with him now?
Yeah,
exactly.
He wasn't.
I'm not going to sit here and defend any sort of anti-Semitism because that's just insanity.
Absolutely,
But
yeah.
just a joke between myself and my wife privately.
Especially while you're shaving. Like, it's not.
Yeah, we've all done, like I'm going to do different things with my razor and see what I do, and send it to my, go in the living room and be like, what do you think, hon? I'm done. It's not uncommon as guys that have beards and just screw around.
Absolutely, all the time. Literally, if I shave my beard off, I for sure like shave a little Fu Manchu. I for sure like I do all this. Like, I mean, I shave the Lemmy. I do the Lemmy chops. I do like with the chops and just shave down here. Like, I do the whole thing. So it's a matter of like, I think it's an unfortunate on both parties. It was clearly a toxic relationship. I don't know how toxic it was, but both parties were clearly, at least one party was clearly toxic. Although I can't say that he really said anything. I don't know that we ever got anything from him. He never said. He stayed out of it.
I've not seen anything from him.
I've seen no comments from him, and who knows how he was as a husband. You're going to be completely different at home,
I mean, so I don't know, but I feel like particularly in this circumstance, if it's a matter of like, he hits me, he busted my lip up, like, call the police, get the police involved. Like, this is a domestic disturbance. Like, exactly. The end result is the same, except like you've got a police report to back you up through said divorce. Now, through the divorce, she's like, if there's no proof, like, she could get, I mean, she probably won't, but she could get raked over the coals during this divorce. Like, you get no alimony, you get no this, you get no that. I don't know if they have children together. I don't think they do.
I don't think so.
I don't think they do.
Yeah, so a ridiculous photo in court is not going to do you any good.
It's nothing. Because he could
photos, if you can somehow prove that was a real thing, that'll definitely get you some money.
Honestly, I don't know, like, what I was supposed to be looking for in those photos. I don't know that she just
there
looked
was
like
a little lip action. I know I did see that. A little
maybe, but like, I didn't know what, I mean, I don't know.
Let's also not forget that she is a member of the Impact Knockouts division. And
yeah,
I mean, she's out here working every week. Like,
yeah, so it's hard to like, it just looked kind of like she was just there without makeup on, taking selfies, and they were separate photos from like clearly different time, because her hair length was different. So it's like, it's hard to, I don't know that I could say that that's, and as somebody who's been through law school, if you were to show me those two photos, like, he beat me, here's the photos, I would look at those photos and go, how is this proof of that? Because it needs to be a little more conclusive. It's
there
very
needs to be a police report with it, something to back it up.
Right, because like I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not a professional wrestler, and I've hurt myself and bled a lot, doing plenty of stupid things. And I could like take pictures of it, like, wow, my wife cut me. Like, that's not true. Like I hit my face, or I cut myself because I was trying to open a box and I split my finger, or cut my thumb like a hot dog, or whatever. We're like, oh, I tried to block it with she got my thumb. Like, that's, it's not a. It's like that's not conclusive. You know what I mean? There has to be something substantial. And I know that like we're in this sort of era where it's like, well, you should believe everybody, but it's like, yeah, but like there are people that are taking advantage of that, and we've also seen that like take advantage of, and it would be, especially considering like there's another woman who is the wife of his tag team partner or the girlfriend or whatever, who is literally out there saying, he's been with us for weeks trying to get away from her because she's nuts. The abuse, the mental abuse is all on her. Like, so there's this other, like, we're supposed to believe all women, but now there's two separate women, one woman saying one thing, another woman saying another thing. And it's like, well, if we believe all women, how do we reconcile this, right? Because like this woman's saying he's been with us and she's the crazy one, and this woman's like, he beat me the other day, and she's like, he's been with us for weeks, he hasn't even seen her. So I don't know. I don't know how to think or how to say about it, but it all seems very screwy, and it truthfully seems very unfortunate. So I'm going to go with that.
I really feel like, Tom, we're going to see something amongst the ranks of the hot dog defense that you just pulled out. As far as I was cutting hot dogs and I cut my finger, and it's the hot dog defense.
I cut my thumb like a hot dog. That's how. Because
I like the hot dog defense, though. I think
the hot dog defense. Yeah, it is the hot dog defense. But anyway, so I don't know. This sucks because I mean we've been talking about MSK for a year now, and like, are these guys legit? Are they the real thing? And like, they came back and had the Guru, who ended up being Matt Riddle, and really did their thing, and came back and finally had the WrestleMania weekend moment, because it wasn't on WrestleMania, it was on Stand and Deliver, but still had their moment, and then now it's gone.
Big things. They were destined for definitely much higher in the ranks.
Yeah, well, and now they're the NXT Tag Team Champions are Tag Team Championship is on the multi-time champion of Vacant, a multi-time champion in WWE. But so they're Vacant, and so there'll be new tag team champs this week. I'm thinking it's going to be Legado del Fantasma. I feel like they're due, especially since Imperium's been called up. But I guess we'll see what happens, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, man. It's really unfortunate, So we will just have to wait and see what's going on with that. So spoiler alert, if for those of you that are with us and not watching Monday Night Raw, Tommaso Ciampa is set to make his official call-up Monday Night Raw debut. Hopefully, man, they just leave Tommaso Ciampa's presentation alone. They don't change his name. They don't fuck with him, because, I mean, clearly this past week we got Raquel Gonzalez called up to SmackDown, and they changed her name to Raquel Rodriguez.
I mean, I think that makes sense, because they changed her name so she's not Giant Gonzalez, because she's big, and like there was a Giant Gonzalez. I mean, and that's how Vince thinks, right?
Yeah.
And I think at some point,
how is it not annoying that Dakota Kai is not up with her after they just competed for the tag team championships?
I think Dakota's coming. We might see Dakota tonight as well, or in the coming weeks.
I would agree with that. I think that she's probably due.
I think she's coming too. So I don't think that, I think Raquel's a big deal. I think she's the bigger deal per se. And I think they need somebody on Raw, especially. So I think putting her out there on Raw is a big deal. And I get her name change. Same thing with Ludwig. His name is Marcel Barthel is Ludwig. What now?
Kaiser.
Ludwig Kaiser. I think that's
bread.
Right. Or like the bun, like a hot dog bun, like a Kaiser, like a roll. But truthfully, I think that's a better name than I think that's a better name than Marcel Barthel, if I'm being honest.
Well, Gunther had come out and said, "Hey, listen, if my name was Gunther before and they changed it to Walter, everybody would be bitching." So like
same, yeah.
I mean, I know that I wasn't a big fan of the change, just because, like you get used to somebody in a certain presentation, and then for all of that to change, it's a little strange, but I mean, it is what it is, right? And you still know, and and I mean, even with Pete Dunne, switching to Butch, it's like, when I know we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, what's in a name, man? Make the most of it and do your thing. And,
he's getting TV time every week. And truth be told, his storyline is better than Wheeler Yuta's right now. So he's got more storytelling and more, like, he hasn't had the opportunity to have 20-minute match against a Jon Moxley yet, but he's had the opportunity to come out there and show his face, do his thing. I mean, he's kind of a Scrappy Doo character, but you know what? I remember Scrappy Doo, right? Like, it's like, oh man, they compared me to Scooby Doo. You mean they compared you to one of the most successful TV series of all time? Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. Let's compare me to success. It's like when people compare people to The Miz. Like, oh, you're just a such and such Miz. Like, fucking The Miz? Like, The Miz is awesome. Like, why would you not want to be The Miz? Like, you know how many indie wrestlers would kill to have a Miz career? It's that kind of like thing. Like, how many people would kill to have a Scooby-Doo-esque TV career? Good God. But I think with Raquel, it makes sense. Like I said, I think they're just going to go with Raquel. At some point, she's going to lose her last name. She'll just be Raquel, I think, at some point. But, I don't think that's a big deal either. I think that, she's there. I think she's main roster, like, all day. I don't know. I don't want to say older. That's not fair. But she's, like, in her mid-30s plus, right?
Yeah, and like, I kind of felt like, after the Great American Bash, when she got the motorcycle entrance and started wearing the lime green and all the colors and kind of got away from just wearing black, that we were gonna get a main roster call up and push sooner than later.
They needed her. They needed her for the Dusty Classic or the Mae Young Classic or whatever. They just needed the bodies, and she was a body. And they're like, you know what? Post WrestleMania, we'll call her up, and that'll be. I think that was really what it was. Is that we need this spot filled on NXT. We can't shoehorn her into anything for WrestleMania now. So let's keep using her as a marquee star in NXT because she gets eyeballs. I mean, she's a star, so keep her there. And then whenever it's time to put her on the main roster, which is what they did that. So, I'm excited to see Ciampa on. I think he's just going to end up being Ciampa. They may change the spelling. But I'm ready to see Ciampa on the main roster. A lot of talk says that he may be going to Edge's stable, which might be cool. Ciampa under Edge.
I think that'd be cool.
As in a heel stable. That might be cool. I like that WWE's bringing stables back into the fold again. I think that's a neat. I think that's something that WWE's been lacking for a long time, and that's always something that's really got people over. Is stables, to put, stars that maybe are part-time, sort of. Somebody like Edge, you don't want Edge taking bumps every night, right?
No.
But like they didn't want Ric Flair taking bumps every night, but you can put Ric Flair in a stable with, a 20-something Randy Orton and fucking Dave Bautista in his prime and be like, okay. And Triple H, because, you don't want Triple H taking bumps every night at that point in his career either.
No, not at all.
You could put him in there with two young studs and just be like, all right, studs, kill him. And, at some point, let me talk. Talk when it's time to talk, but learn. You're next. You're next. And Ciampa's not the youngest guy, but he's younger than we are. So he's 36, I think.
He's like 35, 36, yeah.
Yeah, so he's like, 35, 36. So it's like he's got another 5-6 years in him, like, easy. Man's in phenomenal shape. So he could have a solid career. I imagine, he'll be probably, especially if you pair him with a guy who's as big as Damian Priest, could have a really solid, couple tag team title runs, could have probably a couple solid Intercontinental Championship runs. I don't know that he's ever big enough to be the guy necessarily, but, he was the guy. He has some of the best NXT title runs in the history of NXT. So, I don't know that he necessarily needs to be the guy. But AJ Styles was the guy for a long time too. So you never say never, right? We don't know what the future will hold. And
the champ that runs the camp, And truth be told, I mean, if it ends up being, oh my God, Tommaso Ciampa versus Roman Reigns, I don't think that he's going to beat Roman Reigns, but that would be a great match. I'd watch. Yeah,
I'd tune in.
I'd watch it.
I'd tune in for that. So I think it really brings up a lot of possibilities, and I'm happy to see it. I hope it's under his what he wants to do as a wrestler and as a person, because I feel like he's given so much to us already.
Absolutely.
As just a like his run so far, like his sort of extended NXT run, phenomenal. I mean, he's really the star, the guy to come out of NXT.
I would agree with that.
And I'm God, he's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. So it's easy to say that in at this point. So I'm excited to see it. I'm gonna watch it as soon as we get off here. I'm gonna watch it and watch for him.
So Derek just come back online, sneezed. He's been sitting in the behind the scenes for like 6 minutes trying to work this sneeze out, and as soon as he brings the camera back on, he sneezes. Like I don't know if you caught that, Tom, but
I didn't.
I literally mouthed, "I'm so sorry," and put my hand. So it was not intentional, fellas. Yeah, that was not.
That's okay.
it's just par for the course for Derek. I mean,
I
for
enjoyed
fuck's
having
sake, man. My main camera for whatever reason's not working. So like, hey, why not? Fucking, you try to do the right thing, go off stream, and then you immediately come back on and you fucking sneeze. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Like,
I do like this angle though. We got the Superman poster. We got stuff on the wall. We got a good shot of the title belts.
It's a little different. It's nice.
The tree behind you. It's a good shot. It's a good angle. So I can't.
It's not bad.
I can't argue the angle. What else are we talking about here?
Hey, so Alexa Bliss got married this weekend.
She did.
Ryan Cabrera. Lots of fucking people were there. Apparently, the airline lost Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville's luggage. I'm assuming they found it because there's no way that Sonya Deville got that skull tuxedo done in a matter of hours.
No.
Yeah. But the big takeaway was formerly known as Nia Jax kind of embarrassed The Miz a little bit. I don't know if anybody saw that video.
I didn't. So I don't, on purpose, I don't watch what she does because I think she's kind of an embarrassment, but that's just me. So elaborate, inform us.
So, they were both a part of the wedding party, and
sure.
They were escorting each other for the wedding party, and
oh boy,
the DJ introduced The Miz with all of his WWE accolades, and the fact that he was a 2-time Grand Slam champion, and a member of the cast of The Real World, and all this and all that. And then they were like, "Oh yeah," and then he's got Lena on his arm, right? And The Miz started cracking up, and she chased his ass down the like little aisleway into the thing around the wedding, and then finally she just gave up because she couldn't catch his ass, right? So for me, that was kind of funny. It was a callback because her, if you remember, we talked about her interview on Renee Paquette's show, and how she said, I kind of, all these things that I did while I was with WWE, that was all Nia Jax, that wasn't Lena. So like, I get no recognition for any of the things that I did. So the fact that for me, I laughed just because I remembered that comment.
So she didn't embarrass The Miz. She embarrassed herself.
Yeah. Well, The Miz kind of embarrassed her because I guess he's the one that handed the DJ the call card, right?
Of course he did.
So that was the thing. And then
what I like about The Miz? You know what I like about The Miz is that he's a heel in real life, but a fun time heel.
Yeah.
Where he's going to be the bad guy, but you love him anyway because he's literally every wrestler that got married this year, he was in the wedding party. Matt Cardona, like Mia Yim and Keith Lee, he was there. And he was in the party for everybody. Every wrestler that got married this year, he's there. And not only is he there, he's in the wedding party. So, The Miz, clearly the most likable guy in WWE, unless you're Lena Fenanine or whatever her name is. And of course she couldn't catch him. The Miz's cardio is so much better than hers. Plus she's got that injury to her hole.
Yeah.
My hole.
my hole.
That's a
so Braun Strowman, Adam Scherr, the Titan, whatever you would like to refer to him as, was at that wedding. And like there's all this stuff, with the Twitter bots and this and that with Tony
Team
Khan
Big
and
Little.
Becky Lynch. And he had said the same thing, about CYN. And I guess a fan complimented Control Your Narrative to him on Twitter, and he got real fucking defensive and made fun of the guy. Said something about his mother, actually. And
don't do that. Well,
yeah,
he's not that smart.
Well, that's what I said.
It was a compliment, but
he got upset about. And the guy was like, "Hey man, I just tried to fucking compliment you, you big dumb idiot." And so Braun Strowman's stupid in 3 languages.
Well, I mean, look, I hope that CYN becomes cool, but the fact that he hasn't been signed to another big company yet, to me, is really telling. Because he was for sure one of those guys. I'm like, oh man, somebody's gonna pick him up just because he's huge. He can talk. Like that's like sure. that's full on. Like the fact that like TNA didn't throw money at him, like Billy Corgan didn't throw money at him just to like let him run through people. Like TNA, like or not TNA, NWA. Like, they love them big dudes. They love it. Like they love like them big dudes in NWA would be like. I mean, that would be top tier stuff, right? Like, that would blow up their YouTube. And they didn't throw money. I mean, he probably wanted too much money, and that's probably the problem because they probably did reach out to him, and he was like, "Yeah, I want $2 million," and he
thinks way too much of himself.
And they were like, "Nah, like $800K." And he was like, "Nah, $2 million," and it was like, "Okay, never mind."
Like, motherfucker, you were part of the Congo line for Jose. What was his name?
No, well, no way, Jose. But he wasn't the Congo line. He was out
there for the party people or whatever.
He was a Rosebud.
There. Oh, okay. My apologies.
He was a Rosebud.
Same thing.
But we haven't seen hide nor hair of him either. So.
And he was over as fuck.
Yeah, he was. For a minute. We've not seen hide nor hair of him. Matt Cardona won another title though over the weekend, despite attending weddings.
Yes, apparently I've heard his apparently a little crazy.
Apparently there was a title up for grabs, and he won that and then ran to a wedding. So good for Matt Cardona. He probably needs to stop taking them title shots, I think.
Yeah, he tweeted that. Please stop booking me against your champions because my bag's a little full. There was like 6 or 7 titles in the picture.
It's too hard. It's too hard to get these through. It's really hard to get these through. Like, what is all this metal in this suit in this carry-on, sir? Look, I am like a multi-time world champion right now. I need to bring all these with me.
You've likely never heard of any of these promotions. But they're real. And
it's like he has to pay like or either that or he has to pay like hundreds of dollars for this super heavy carry-on for this super heavy like checked bag. It's like this checked bag weighs 89 pounds. So based on weight, this is a $300 bag to check, and it's like, oh god. Okay. Can I have insurance with that too? That's going to be another $300, sir. So it's like $600 every time he has to go anywhere. And like, they don't pay me enough to carry these.
That's why I don't fly. I just drive everywhere. He should get an RV with his name or his face on the side of it. He'd be good to go.
And you have
go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I was saying you drive everywhere and you have like a toddler. Like, oof.
Yeah, I don't fly anywhere. No, I've never flown. I'm not going to do that. No, thank you.
You've never flown?
No. Hell no. No. You're not going to see my ass up in the air, bud. Yeah.
Really? Well,
I've got a buddy in New Mexico I'd love to see, but it ain't going to happen. I'll meet you in Indiana. That's about half.
Everything makes so much sense now.
I don't like to fly either, right? Because like, you know, I'm a big fat guy and it's like really fucking difficult. But like we just made the decision that we're gonna drive to our Florida vacation.
Ooh, yuck.
In December.
Extra yuck.
Simply based
on Disney.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm flying to Disney.
You're gonna see this?
I mean the kids might, you never know.
The kids already know.
You start off
the kids don't know.
And they're going to turn it off.
But like we're doing that out of convenience for, you know, just but like I'll fly. You know what I mean? Like
enjoy.
A couple hours of discomfort. is much better than me doing this.
Yeah. Nobody's gonna have to send me a text saying, "Did you land okay?" Yeah, no.
You're so much more likely to get in a car accident than you are to like fucking
But I'm in
crash
control,
and burn.
bud. I'm in control.
Okay.
Can't do it.
All right, this is the dumbest conversation I've had in a long time. So let's move on.
So one
Dom
thing,
just hates me tonight. That's what
Well,
I
it
don't
is.
hate you. It's just a dumb conversation. It's really dumb. I don't have the compassion tonight. I'm sorry. It's dumb.
It's
The-
Let's
fine.
move
I
on.
mean, yeah.
the one thing I want to touch on, and then we can go ahead and jump into match of the week. Let's talk about the week that FTR has had. As
Oh,
the
God.
premier tag team in professional wrestling.
Finally. God, I feel like they've been like on hiatus. I mean, I guess there was like a major injury. So like they were being a little bit lenient about it, or they were being a little bit like stingy about stuff. But like fucking hell. I mean, they've been the premier tag team in wrestling for like the last decade. And it's like finally now we're like, now it's like, oh right, I forgot. FTR gets fucking 5+ star matches out of every tag team ever, period. Like, good God, they could get like amazing matches out of literally any, like you could throw any two jabronis together and put them in the ring with FTR, and all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, what a good match that was. Like, these guys are tag team wrestling fucking geniuses, and that's probably underselling how good they
I would
are.
agree with that.
I think that they as personalities sort of have a very they're not willing, I'd say, to do as much necessarily, or they were for a hot minute, but then they sort of got, after Uzi Hot, they kind of got fired up about it. Although that was kind of funny. That was looking back on it, that wasn't the worst thing. He scooted his ass. Remember that? Was funny as hell. Anyway, but now, I mean, FTR versus Young Bucks 2 was the better match betwixt the two, and FTR came out on top. FTR versus the Briscoes was, and all of the
listen. I've still not seen it. I can't seem to. I can't seem to lock it down.
It keeps getting taken down because because where I tried to rewatch it and where I'd watched it first, it was gone. It was like, this video no longer exists, because I was gonna share it back to you, be like, dude, watch this. But it keeps getting pulled down because it was a like really niche pay-per-view. So it's like, it's really like
It was a premium live event.
Because Tony Khan's involved now, so that's why.
Yeah, so it's really like unfortunate that that's going to be one of those like sort of lost to history matches. That's going to be one of those matches that like shows up like years from now. It's like, hey, this was a thing, because it was so good. Because I tried to rewatch it because it was so good. But FTR versus Young Bucks was actually like, this is why earlier I was like talking about how freaking great Dynamite was. Like, Dynamite was just incredible this week. And now we're gonna get Adam Cole versus Hangman this next Friday, or this coming Friday at 7 p.m. It's a weird like 7 o'clock like time slot. I do think Adam Cole's gonna win.
Baby.
I hope. Baby.
Too.
And I think that's the right call.
I would agree.
If Hangman beats him, I'm going to be confused. Like, Adam Cole's clearly been the face that's been running the place.
And I think that Red Dragon's going to win the titles too.
I also believe that because, like I said, Adam Cole's been the face that's been running the place. And I mean, Red Dragon, same thing. Like, God, these guys, they just take over. And it's like, they're so infectious. Like, what they're like the heel, they're like Degeneration X, but like when they were heels, but like everybody loved them as heels.
Yeah.
It's like, it's that level of just like, God, why are they so good? Because they were so good. And it's that level. So, but now FTR, I loved the after the match, they're like handing back and forth, like, hand me that bottle of Dark Horse wine. And they're just they're like laying out, like drinking wine. Like, I'm so beat up, but give me this fucking wine. And I love that. I love those shots. Those guys are top tier. They're top guys. And
Top guys.
I love to see it. And I want to see more of it. I just want to see them continue to be top guys all the time. Give me more of that. Put it in my eyeballs. And that makes me happy. Make me happy.
Derek, you look like you got something to say about FTR, everybody.
Dude, it just makes no sense to me. No, it's not even about FTR, but Tom, you brought up that you're really excited for this Friday's Texas Death Match. I want to make that clear. A Texas Death Match.
But I bet there's no blood because it's 7 o'clock. I bet they don't go to blood.
Ooh, that's a good point. 7 o'clock. That's a good point.
What the hell's the difference between 7 o'clock and 9 o'clock? And let's be honest, it's going to be 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock.
Hold on.
Because it's not like FTR is going to come out. Or, I'm sorry, Adam Cole and Adam Page are going to come out first.
10 o'clock. So this will go on at 7:38.
Dude, I don't care if there's going to be blood. It's a Texas death match.
There isn't.
You literally just said you're excited for a death match, Tom. And after all these years and months of speaking with you, you hate death matches.
But I bet most of it happens within the ring, and they just end up like there just is a chair, and like somebody comes in, and like it's just, I'm telling you, it's not going to be a death match. It's not going to be a death match in the way that you think. Okay, we can talk about this next week, and I'm really excited.
I really feel like you might be setting yourself up for a fail here, bud.
Who, me or Derek?
Yeah, you.
No, I don't fail.
You think they're going to bleed at 7 p.m.? It's 7:30 p.m.
Listen, I appreciate your point. And Tommy, I don't know if you said this while I was trying to get my shit together over here with my camera. I still don't know what's going on. But you had made a comment in the group chat about Rampage replacing ECW on the late night.
I didn't talk about that. So, like, yeah, that's the thing, is that like Rampage like goes to blood constant. I love that Derek just like took a swig of vodka right there, and now he's choking on it. But so I love that like Rampage is like, did you ever watch? Because they like marked out some girl about like, oh, you didn't watch ECW then. Yeah. So ECW went to blood a lot because their talent was fucking shit. Do you remember like Sabu? Like Sabu was terrible. But
Jesus,
you know what
Christ,
why do I exist? Why do you exist? But you know what they had on ECW that they didn't have on anything else at that point in time? Like full on like TNA. Like, I mean, it was a big deal. It was like, well,
yeah, it was hardcore. Francine,
yeah, like you could tune it into ECW. Like ECW, like they knew they had their like RVDs and they had their Sandmans and they had their guys who were super over. But you know what else they had? They had Francine. They had they were like, in addition to the blood and guts of the guys like the Blue Meanie who were terrible at wrestling, they also had
give him $1 and he'll tell you the story about the time JBL punched him in the face.
Exactly. Give him a whole dollar.
Tom, you're absolutely right. There was multiple occasions where I've watched documentaries about this where they would actually have a lull in their presentation and be like, oh shit, we got nothing going on. Hold on, we need to kill time. You go out there and shake your ass. Do stuff. Basically. I'm not trying to be,
go out there, take your pants off.
But literally that's what was said to them at the time.
Take your shirt off, no nipples, come back.
It is what it is. It was a different time then. We don't get that now, though.
That's what they're trying to do.
But Tom, we can't have that. There's no way.
The point. We can't have that. Apparently, we can still have the violence, but the like, butt cheeks go. That's not that can't be a thing anymore. Which is why it doesn't work.
Yes. So, thank you, Twitter.
So it doesn't work. Like it worked. Why did it work for ECW? Because they interjected blood and butt cheeks, and for whatever reason, it was the 90s.
It was the 90s, and nobody had a huge megaphone that you can spread your opinions on to the entire world. Instead, it was AOL, instant messenger.
Right. You've got mail.
Yeah.
But That's the point. That's the point I'm trying to make, is that it's not.
We just dated ourselves.
You've got mail.
Dude, I still have about $1,000 worth of floppy disks for
No, you
500 minutes apiece. Free internet.
500.
One day,
No,
those shits are
no
going on
wonder
eBay.
your internet sucks so bad.
How long is 500 minutes? Hold on.
Yeah, that's my internet right there.
How long is 500 minutes? Anyway, what's next?
3 hours.
It's time for the match of the week.
500 minutes is just barely 8 hours, by the way. Is like 8.5 hours, by the way.
Yeah, that won't last a housewife long. That's what they were targeting right there.
Yeah, well, they wanted him to browse the. Anyway, not important. Match of the week. Okay, my match of the week. So I have an honorable mention to talk about because it's a feel good story for me. So Gunther, who formerly known as Walter, made his debut this week, and it was great. So he was up against a jobber, Mr. Joe Alonzo, who we've seen before. Actually, they let Veer kill him on main event, but Joe made his. Joe also made his. I think it was SmackDown. It all kind of runs together now. I think it was Joe made his SmackDown debut. Joe Alonzo. Against Gunther, and they gave it about 4 or 5 minutes, and Gunther just beat the tar out of him, and he took it and he sold it like a jobber we haven't seen since the early 90s. And then if you were to follow Joe Alonzo on Twitter, Joe Alonzo is so elated that Gunther beat the absolute tar out of him, and he took it and took a power bomb at the end. Gunther got a great pin. Gunther looks great. Walter Gunther looks great, by the way. The man has abs now. The man looks like $1 million. So
Absolutely
excited,
agree.
so excited to see him on the main roster, and he just went out there and beat the tar out of a jobber who really, it was his life dream to get the tar beat out of him on the WWE like main TV, and he looked great too. I gotta say, not only he looked great, he made Gunther look great. So like, shout out to Joe Alonzo for really just being like just a star. And like, he was trending for a little while. He got a whole bunch of new followers on Twitter because not only did he get a beating, but he took a beating, and he took a beating on major TV like a man, and it was great. So shout out to Joe Alonzo for that. So that's my like honorable mention. But man, truth be told, only because it's been too freaking long. Wednesday Night Dynamite. Samoa Joe. Oh man, Samoa Joe made his AEW debut in the best Samoa Joe fashion that I could possibly imagine.
Against the right opponent, too.
Against the right opponent. Samoa Joe versus Max Caster. Max Caster comes out, cuts a great rap on Samoa Joe, and then Samoa Joe beats the absolute shit out of him for like the next 9 minutes. Oh God, he hit all this great Samoa Joe like things where like he didn't do the like walk away, like Caster didn't try to like jump off the ropes to like a staggered Joe, and Joe just like walk away. Like we didn't get that spot. That's the only.
We got the muscle buster though.
That's the only spot we didn't get, but we did get the muscle buster for the pin. He didn't have to choke him out. We got the muscle buster for the pin, and yeah, it was fantastic. So that's really my match of the week, only because that's really what stuck with me. It was just one of those like it was one of those like elated joy moments.
Joe looked good too, man.
Joe looked great.
Looks like he dropped a couple LBs.
Joe looked great. This was the Samoa Joe I wanted, right? Yeah. It was like, oh my God, I can't wait to see Samoa Joe. And then I got it, and I got exactly what I wanted. And it was like, I ordered like a really good steak, and I got a really good steak, and it was cooked exactly perfectly, and it was seasoned exactly perfectly, and I had the right sides, and everything tasted good, and my beer tasted good. Like the taps were freshly cleaned, and like this was that to me. This was like, I ordered this, and this is what I wanted, and you gave it to me, and I ate it, and it was just mwah. So that's my match of the week.
That's good. Little dick bag. What about you, bud?
Well, so basically, my match of the week was stolen there because I was definitely going for Max Caster and Samoa Joe. I figured you guys could use a pop out of that, considering that's kind of your boy. And I was pretty impressed with what I saw. He he enjoyed the rap that he got as
He did.
Max
He did.
Caster came out. He did, and then he did a little dance there before he came to the ass whippings. But
So true story about that, right? So I was watching Dynamite up in the living room on what was it? It must have been it was Saturday afternoon because I was out of town and Carson was napping, and when he did the little dance in the corner, I popped hard, and it's like always just chaos in your fucking house.
it is. My
We
wife
bet-
is
we-
insane.
We better just wrap this up.
I'm
Let's
sorry.
just get this wrapped
She's
because I think
special,
let's just get this wrapped.
special lady that I married.
But anyways, Carson was napping. He did the little dance in the corner, and I had my AirPods in, and the wife was fixing the daughter's hair for dance pictures, and I popped real hard and I started clapping, and I got yelled at. You wake up the kid.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. That was
It
cold.
happens.
But please continue.
The other one, I was actually trying to look it up here on my phone real quick because I'm not having a really good memory about this. But Braun Breaker winning the title back, I felt like
It was
was
good.
a great match.
It was.
Especially at the end, whenever we got, God, I can't remember his name, but he's so good as being the cult leader type
Joe
deal
Gacy.
going on.
Gacy,
Thank you. And Rick Steiner's stuck in the cage, and congratulations, son, you did good.
Yeah, they kidnapped him.
I'm so excited to see what we have next week. So
Kidnapped
excited.
him.
I
Can't believe they
wait
kidnapped
to
him.
see what I hope that this Joe Gacy thing doesn't get screwed up because man, I'm so into this.
You're
Well, I
right.
mean,
Joe
they-
It's been going
they
on for
fumbled Bray
about
Wyatt,
6 months,
so-
maybe a year now, and it just keeps getting better and deeper. And where's it gonna go? Like, when is he finally gonna get this big break? Because this guy has title written on him, but you don't know when it's gonna happen.
He's
You don't know why he's here.
Hey,
so good. Hey,
Hey, so before I get into my match of the week, I do want to touch on one thing. Cody's promo on the Monday night after WrestleMania.
That was heartfelt.
Thumbs up, thumbs down. Tom, I'm interested in hear what your opinion on this is.
No, because he brought up Dusty. I really feel like it was the promo he needed to give. I don't know that it was scripted per se, but I really do think that it was one of those things where it was like, all right, I want to talk about my dad. Can we bring up a picture of my dad? Can we do this, that, the other? And, I'm going to talk about legacy. I want to talk about this, that, and the other.
Mhm.
I thought he did a nice job. He really did. It was a very Cody promo. I really don't think. I really don't think it was scripted. They gave him a lot of time. Was it like a high point moment for me? No, but I think that, like, as far as what they're doing with Cody and bringing him back, I really think that it was probably the right call to make. I did think that was what they were going to do with Cody in that regard, and they did it. And you know what? They did it to the best effect possible. So I mean, it was predictable. I feel like what he said was predictable. But at the same time, I feel like they really did a good job, and Cody delivered it very well.
I thought so too.
So I really think they've put him, and then Seth came out at the end, shook his hand.
Yeah.
So I really
don't think we've seen the end of that though.
No, that's an ongoing feud for sure.
Because it was a great. I mean, they had the match. Look, there's like a couple matches that you could say won WrestleMania weekend. That's one of them.
Yeah.
It's like, well, what was better? Was it Becky versus Bianca, or was it Seth versus Cody? Like that was it. Like those were the matches to talk about. Like, were those
and he came out and said, "Welcome to the big show," or whatever he said. The main show, something to that effect.
Welcome to the big leagues, bitch.
There you
bitch.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or welcome back to the big leagues, bitch.
Welcome
is what he
back
said.
to the big leagues, bitch.
Can't wait till Brandy comes out on announcing again. I wish he'd have thrown that out there.
So there's the rumors are circulating that she's in talks.
I hope they just go, nah, never mind.
Why does it matter? Who cares?
Listen,
you guys
she is not.
Really
she cannot be.
She
cannot be an in-ring talent.
Affect your rating on it.
She cannot be an in-ring talent with the caliber.
That's fine. Go backstage. I want you to interview backstage. I don't want you to be in-ring. I didn't ask for that.
No, I just
go over here with Stephanie and do charity work.
I'm good. Look, if she wants to come out with Cody and go, that's fine. But no, otherwise, no.
She's no Miss Elizabeth. I don't know about that.
Hard no. Anyway,
yeah, man. Like I was into it, and I got a little pop today. I was searching the old interwebs, and I heard that Cody said the person I was most excited to meet coming to WWE was Bianca Belair.
I saw that as well.
Although Stone Cold gave him a hug.
Yeah.
And
you know what I think? You know what I think too.
And Becky.
The handling of Cody Rhodes is very important because AEW like mainstays are gonna look at how Vince has handled Cody on this return and be like, well, they did right by Cody. Maybe they'll do right by me.
And I think that's going to be a big thing for, especially for the guys like Wardlow, MJF. A lot of guys.
I think MJF's gone.
Oh yeah, dude, for sure. Maybe sooner rather than later. I don't know if you guys saw this report. MJF's pretty pissed off because I guess him and Tony got into a pretty heated argument because MJF appeared on the Ariel Helwani show without permission.
Well, and on top of that, he's mad about he knows how much the new guys are making, and he ain't making that despite being still the guy, like the best heel in pro wrestling. And
he's a Cody Rhodes guy, and like Cody's gone.
Yeah. So it's that's truth be told. Max may be going to WWE sooner than we think.
I wouldn't be surprised, but you know what? I'm going to be happy to see the character wherever it is, as long as it can stay consistent.
Oh my god, dude, he would be a WWE guy.
Frederick instead of Maxwell Friedman. I'll be like, are you fucking kidding me?
I'm just saying. Well, regardless of what, I think he'd be Maxwell Jacob Friedman still. I don't think they'd mess that up.
I don't know, man. We've got AJ Styles. He did survive.
That's right. That's the kind of
Mojo. That's another example. But
I don't think he'd go without that being, Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
I can't argue there, Tom, for sure.
I don't think that would. I think that would be, and I'm sure that was a thing with Cody too. Is that like, all right, I'm Cody Rhodes though.
Yeah, he kept the gimmick, the song, everything.
Yeah, and I think that's, I think for those guys, I think that's going to be the breaking point.
Yeah.
A little bit of
it'll be written into the look. He's made enough money. He can he can hire lawyers to review a contract. Let's not pretend like he doesn't have $1 million in the bank. Right?
Hey, and let's not pretend like WWE hasn't made out on Cody Rhodes keeping that American Nightmare persona in that presentation, because I mean his theme song is like #1 on Spotify right now.
Yeah,
and WWE is seeing a cut of that.
Absolutely, and fellas, I guarantee you, we're going to see a Stardust gimmick, like a one night only Stardust gimmick. But we will see something come out eventually. Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, we did. He did the cartwheel.
Yeah, he did.
I know. And he even mentioned in his promo, but no, I think there's going to be more to it than that.
Nah, I don't.
I do.
I think it would be foolish. Even though, like, if you look back at Stardust, like, that shit was really good.
But wrestling's all about fun. It doesn't have to be serious 24/7.
Yeah, but I mean, we're talking about millions and millions of dollars here, bud. Like, we're not talking about fucking chump change. Like,
yeah.
There's a lot of money invested in Cody Rhodes as the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes. There's not a lot of money invested into fucking Stardust.
No.
So, my match of the week this week was without a doubt 1,000,000% FTR versus the Young Bucks. I really, really appreciated the Young Bucks Nasty Boys inspired ring gear that popped me. I enjoyed that a lot. The match was phenomenal. The storytelling inside of that match, Tom, and I know that we talked about this after FTR Young Bucks won, how you felt like FTR was able to get one hell of a match out of the Bucks. If that's the case, they did it twice, because this was a pure tag team wrestling match.
They could do it 3 times. They could do it 4 times.
They can do it 7 times. I want to watch.
These are the guys. Yeah, these are the guys to do that. Like, these are the guys to get a match. Like, the Young Bucks are this mushy amount of clay that like have this standard match that they have, but like FTR is like they're the Ghost. You've seen Ghost with he's dead, but he's still like making the pot.
Isn't that Demi Moore?
Demi Moore and Patrick Swayze. Yeah,
Patrick Swayze.
Yeah. That's FTR. FTR is Patrick Swayze in this analogy.
Yeah, I can see that, but I mean.
It's the stupidest analogy I've ever come up with.
Listen, but here's the thing, though. Like, I'm not disagreeing with you, because like if this was an FTR, style match first and foremost, but the Young Bucks definitely got their high spots, and they made sense. That was the thing. Like, the high spots made sense. The tag team workmanship, the showmanship between the 4 of these guys and the full-on tag team was just on point. We had a lot of sections where the false finishes were like so fucking razor close, and like Tom, you said in our group message, Rick Knox is the worst official in professional wrestling. He played his role to a T in that match, and he got taken advantage of by the Young Bucks, because like I think that's his gimmick, right? But then like he made
his gimmick is being the worst gimmick is being the worst ref in professional ref. That's the gimmick.
And then like he made the big call, like with the foot on the rope, that generally he wouldn't have made, and like that was a big moment. And it was
a big moment for Rick Knox.
I watched it twice. Like, I enjoyed that match so very, very much. And I know I come in here and I try to get a rise out of you every week about the Young Bucks, man. But like, if I'm being honest, this was an absolute tag team clinic, and for my money, this is absolutely going to be Dave Meltzer's match of the year. This is absolutely going to be match of the year for a lot of folks, because it was that well done. And man, we might come off here. I might watch it again. That's how much I enjoyed that match. So
you got Raw to watch, buddy. We gotta watch Raw.
I do have to watch Raw. I'll just get off and get on the old thing and just hit the old restart button and start right from the beginning. Life will be great. So that's kind of how I roll on Mondays.
USA told me to fuck off. Actually, I tried to put it on. They told me to. They were like, fuck off, sign in. I'm like, damn it, I'm not doing this right now.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. So
yeah, it's too much.
But hey, guys, I'm as always, man. I really genuinely appreciate the fact that we get to do this every week.
Derek's asleep.
Derek's not asleep. He's looking at his phone.
Derek's asleep.
So,
good night,
hey, listen.
Derek.
Listen,
we appreciate being a hot dog map.
Gotta tuck him in.
We appreciate your interaction. While you're still here, please hit that like button. It really helps us. Hit the subscribe if you've not done so. We're here every Monday, 7:30. Generally 7:30. It depends.
Unless we're going to Raw, baby.
Unless we're going to Raw, baby. So just come along for the ride, man. We're just a couple guys just trying to hang out and bullshit about some wrestling, and that's kind of where we're at with that. So, audio folks, hey, we really do appreciate you. Way to stay strong. Life is great, man. So we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna close this motherfucker out. Derek pissed me off real early, and Tom
pissed me off about the middle section. So
he knew he was on eggshells, so he was on his best behavior. I don't know if anybody else noticed.
I was ready to stab Tom by the time
he was. I told him to be quiet, and he went okay.
Yeah, it was.
Was that whenever I was having camera issues?
It was. Yeah. It was actually. You were like,
it got awkward for a minute.
You disappeared, and Derek was like, "Can I interrupt you?" And I was like, "No, you can't."
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to watch it back.
I kind of want Tom dead.
So, so we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna go pick up Raw, and we'll see you guys next week. As always, thanks for hanging out. It's all love. We'll catch you next week. One Fall WrestleCast.